Hey, everybody, welcome back. My next guest is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, media mogul, and host of The Carlos Watson Show. Please welcome to a late show, Carlos Watson. Hello, Carlos Watson.
Stephen Colbert, good to be with you.
Now, as the people at home can tell from that introduction, you're an accomplished man. Are you one of those Ivy League guys? Are you like Harvard, Stanford? What are you?
You could not get into Northwestern, so I settled at Harvard. I did what I could.
Yes, it's often called the Northwestern of Boston.
It is. I think last I heard that's on the T-shirt. I think so.
Now, but that wasn't always the case. You weren't always towing the line the way a kid was supposed to behave, right?
A teacher or two called me rambunctious, maybe a little rebellious. I've got the rare distinction of having been kicked out of kindergarten, and of course you're sitting there asking, how's that possible?
Exactly.
All you got to do is drink your juice and eat your cookies. How does someone get kicked out? But I managed it. I got kicked out.
Did you not play well with others, Carlos Watson?
You know what? I want to believe I did. I ended up with a terrific older sister who, growing up, I was Robin to her Batman. She taught me everything. She wanted to bring me with her to kindergarten. When she went, they wouldn't let her. So the best big sister in the world, and I say this to someone who I know has big sisters, she taught me everything for 2 years. So when I showed up to kindergarten and they would say 2 + 2, I thought they were joking. I thought, I did that years ago. And so I would answer yellow, and they did not think that was funny.
That's great. So you're an anarchist.
You know what? My buddy Bruce and Gary, they were the other entertainment. We were the Three Stooges. We all got into trouble together.
Now, in 2013, you left, being all over cable news and anchoring and being guests and everything, and started your own media and entertainment company called OZY, OZY. Does that stand for something? What's OZY stand for?
So there was a great poem a couple hundred years ago. The rappers of that time, of the early 1800s, the rappers were the rich English guys. Sure. And the way they would rap is they would put, instead of having 8 Mile kind of cipher battle, they would put these things in magazines and go back and forth. And one of them was a poem called OZY. And we translated to mean think big, but be humble. That's the name of the company. So that's what we named it for, because it's our motto.
Well, what flipped the switch and said, wait, I'm going to just set on my own and do my own thing?
It was two things, Stephen. I mean, one was a little unfortunate in that my mom got really sick, and I had moved to New York in order to work at CNN and CNBC and MSNBC. Mm-hmm. And she got really sick. It was a little bit of a surprise, and so I went home to take care of her in California. I'd moved them to California. And, she was a teacher. She always believed in learning. She thought you never stop. And literally about a month into my time in California taking care of her, she was like, you know what? You're too young to just sit with me in doctor's offices. We got to get you busy. And so I started to think about what I'd love to do. I felt like a lot of cable news was kind of repetitive, if I'm honest. I felt like a lot of times it was the same 4 or 5 stories over and over again. You may have had that feeling yourself. And so I started saying, what would different look like? What would magic look like? And so with OZY, we tried to do that, really report on things that are up and coming, the new, next, rising stars, new trends, that kind of good stuff.
And you identified people who you thought were worth keeping an eye on and encouraging. Who were some of the people that you very early on went, oh, that person's a future star?
One of our early ones, tagging into your background a little bit, was a young comic from South Africa, Trevor Noah, who our headline about a year ahead of time said, could he be the next Daily Show host?
Wow.
Amanda Gorman, the young poet, was another one of them. Issa Rae, the comedian, Dua Lipa, a bartender in Union Square in New York, who ended up becoming AOC.
You have excellent taste.
Yeah, you know what? I loved. You remember Wired magazine back in the day? Wired magazine.
Yeah.
I used to love how, because back when there was Borders bookstore, you could sit in there and you'd read about new technologies and new companies and new people. And I always loved that idea of getting kind of a sneak peek of the future. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with OZY. So I don't know if we had good taste or if we had good inspiration, but that was kind of the idea early on. And I'd always remembered how special it felt to kind of get that sneak peek.
We have to take a break, but stick around. We'll be right back with more Carlos Watson.